The vast majority of black Chicagoans don't want the military sent to our city to fight crime. You hear that and think we're trying to protect criminals, but we're not. We're trying to protect ourselves. You don't understand that because you don't differentiate between criminals and black people. You fail to recognize that black people are most likely to be the victims of crime in Chicago. The people most impacted by crime are telling you that what you want to do is not a solution. Understand that just like you, law enforcement does a historically poor job of differentiating between black people and criminals. So when we send a surge, police start harassing me. And now you want to send untrained military officers into our neighborhoods? It's often the case that the people most impacted by an issue have the most robust understanding of it. While not unanimous, the consensus has been clear that community investment is the route to a safer city. We believe that so strongly that we elected a mayor who ran on that principle. And this year, violent crime is down by 30%. We've had the fewest summer murders since 1965, and carjackings are down 50%. If you can't acknowledge that what we're doing in Chicago is working, it might be because deep down, you doubt our ability to self-govern. As we make historic progress against crime, you're looking to implement a strategy that's more expensive, more forceful, and less effective for long-term change, and also squeezes resources from strategies that work. You're less interested in safety than control, more interested in punishment than prevention, more invested in looking tough than being effective. Because if safety was the goal, you'd be invested in housing, jobs, trauma recovery, schools, and mental health care. You'd be funding what the data and the people actually say works. And we're telling you, this is not what safety looks like. The safest communities don't have the most cops. They have the most resources. So if this is about safety, look at what we're already doing to drive down crime in this city and invest in what is actually working.
My algorithm has been suppressed. My videos are not getting out, but this is a warning and we need to rally together. If you are a person of color, a black person, because this is, again, directly about black people, like, share, comment, boost this to the For You page because this is serious. Remember how I told you that once they were done focusing on immigrants, they were going to turn on black people? And this is why we should have minded our fucking business and stayed out of it altogether. Trump's Justice Department halts police reform agreement. Why is this a problem for black people? Because that police reform was specifically put in place in 2015 after Freddie Gray was slain, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it means. Basically made it so that they could keep tabs on police departments for the people that they were unaliving, harming, or being treated unfairly through them. It makes clear that the department will use all appropriate legal authorities to safeguard civil rights and protect the environment. It has to be consistent with long-standing departmental practices informed by the expertise of the department's career workforce. And you follow that up with what just happened with Elon Musk doing that salute. I told you guys we were next. Share this. We need to come up with something now. This is not a joke.
Not since the 1960s have black Americans been the target of a greater political assault than the one we're witnessing right now. Donald Trump just installed a white supremacist at the State Department who openly proclaims that white men must be in charge of everything. He put in another at the Treasury Department who called to repeal the Civil Rights Act and bragged, "I was racist before it was cool." He put a Fox News host in charge of the Defense Department, even after the man was flagged by a service member as an insider threat and a possible white supremacist. He's installing a man to run the Department of Health and Human Services who believes that black people should not be given the same vaccines as white people. And he gave unprecedented government access to an unelected white South African billionaire who performs Nazi salutes, tells far-right Germans to let go of their Hitler guilt, and is coercing black leaders in South Africa because he thinks white people are being persecuted. Just since Inauguration Day, we've seen white supremacists on the subway in Washington, D.C., Patriot Front members at the Jefferson Memorial, and Proud Boys marching through the streets of the Capitol. And now a far right-wing group has published the names and photos of mostly black federal workers in an alarming new DEI watch list that effectively puts a target on their backs. These are the people Donald Trump is empowering. Trump's mission is to dismantle decades, if not centuries, of civil rights progress in government, business, academia, and culture. In government, he's rescinding executive orders that have protected black people since the 1960s and trying to eliminate the constitutional protection of birthright citizenship from the 1860s. In business, he's pressuring companies to end their DEI programs, and far too many are willingly responding with anticipatory obedience. In academia, he's threatening to investigate colleges and universities and withhold federal funding for schools that promote racial justice. And in the culture, even the NFL has removed its End Racism sign at the Super Bowl, although the league claims it's not connected to Trump's attendance at the game. 1 year ago, I wrote a book called Why Does Everything Have to Be About Race? That warned about 5 features of modern racism. Number 1, erasing black history. Number 2, centering white victimhood. Number 3, denying black oppression. Number 4, promoting myths of black inferiority. And number 5, rebranding racism. Trump is doing all 5 in his first month in office. His Defense Department banned Black History Month events and removed a video about the Tuskegee Airmen, while the Veterans Affairs Office told a black official not to mention DEI during an MLK event, all of which erases black history. His sweeping pardons for hundreds of January 6th insurrectionists, lesser-known pardons for 2 white police officers who murdered a black man, and his campaign to bring back Confederate names on military bases all center a racist misperception of white victimhood. His rescission of decades-old civil rights executive orders fuels right-wing denial of black oppression. His reckless attack on DEI immediately after the DC plane crash promotes discriminatory myths of black inferiority. And his coded language gaslighting us about meritocracy from a man who was the first president elected with no experience in government or military and then became the first criminal to be elected represents a stunning example of rebranding racism. As a black American, it's hard not to reach the conclusion that white America would rather enable a destructive fascist to ruin the country than relinquish its unearned white privilege. The majority of white voters supported Trump in all 3 of his presidential campaigns. Black people did not. We and the indigenous have been the conscience of this country since the founding of the republic. But we are not the majority. We've done our job and will continue to fight for justice. But now it's time, in fact, it's well past time for white people to put up or shut up about democracy.
Baby, out of all the things I can say about Trump, and the one thing I might put respect about, he showed us who he was from the jump. No mask, no sugarcoating, no confusion. He told y'all. He showed y'all the first time. He's been that man since we saw him the first time. The great Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. The problem, many Trump supporters didn't believe him. They thought he was someone they could reason with, somebody with a heart, empathy, and just a little compassion tucked away. But baby, they was hoping for something that he never promised. Now I'm a show me type woman, because once I see you clearly, I know exactly how to move. And I can appreciate that. Back in 2017, when he came down that escalator, y'all thought it was a joke. It wasn't. And this man is not out here freestyling. He's following a plan to the T, a real one, a profitable one, with real backing from some heavy hitters. It's called Project 2025. And baby, they've been working on that since before 2017. And now they're finally implementing it. So all those videos, oh my gosh, how could it be? This isn't the America I know. I don't want to hear it. So what we're not going to do is sit here in shock like we had no idea. Because baby, if they had the chance to do it all over again, they do it the same way. Candace Owens and the rest of them, they know what time it is. They're just switching up because it's trendy. So this ain't the time for respectability politics. It's time to get knowledgeable, to get organized, to get real, period. And let me be real honest with some of y'all. I'm not voting for anybody else's policies right now, not global kumbaya, until I hear from the ancestors that it's time to rally. Until then, I'm focusing solely on us, Black Americans. Baby, don't let them pull your energy away from us, away from community building again. We've danced this dance for everybody else before. And when it's us, silence. Black Americans, we need each other more now than ever. I said Black Americans. And that's who I'm riding for right now. Because ain't nobody going to save us but us. I don't have the energy to be fighting for every other community while my community is out here trying to survive. And up until November, that's exactly what we were doing. And it was draining us, killing us slowly. Because baby, at this point, It's not just politics, it's our lives. Happy Black History 365. And I'll see you next time.
Hello, family. Let's get right to it. You've been lied to again. Some so-called pro-black voices, I like to call them pro-black imposters, told you that Trump's anti-DEI war wasn't really aimed at us, that it wasn't about us, because DEI only helped white women. Therefore, Trump's anti-DEI policies don't hurt black people. They were dead wrong. No, actually, they were lying to you, intentionally. They were trying to excuse Trump's anti-blackness since they told you to vote for Trump or vote for the couch. And now black women are paying the price for that disinformation. So let's start with the numbers. As of May 2025, black women's unemployment rate jumped to 5.8%. That's higher than black men, and white women. Meanwhile, Trump's anti-DEI purge led to a 33% drop in black women working in the federal government, the one sector where our community has real upward mobility. Now, regarding white women, their unemployment rate remained the same. It stayed flat. So yes, they benefited most from DEI, but they aren't the ones being targeted. Trump is using anti-DEI rhetoric as cover to dismantle black careers, especially black women's careers. And here's what the pro-black imposters won't tell you. When you attack black women economically, you're destabilizing entire black families. Why? Because so many black households are led by black women. We need to change that, but that's the case for now, because they are the primary breadwinners, caregivers, and anchors of a lot of black homes. So when Trump's policies fire them and strip them of health insurance and cut off their income, that hurts black kids, that hurts black elders, that hurts the entire black community. The very same people who told you Trump wasn't a threat are now silent, while the sisters are losing everything. These imposters, these pro-black imposters, pushed the lie that DEI was just a hustle for white women. But Trump's policies don't target white women. They target blacks, especially black women. I'm Reverend and Civil Rights Attorney Augustus Corbett. Wake up and stay woke.
I am having a hard time explaining this feeling, which is surprising, right? I'm a black woman in America. I'm Congolese and live in America. Of course, I am used to being overqualified and underlooked. I'm used to this feeling of constant disappointment. But this time felt different. Because if a woman like Vice President Kamala Harris, her opponent is a criminal, yet America chooses him, what message does that send to all the other men who are comfortable assaulting women? What message does that send to all the women who have been assaulted? I just feel so defeated. I feel so defeated. I don't even know how to explain this feeling. It's too much, because there was never a part of me for a second who thought, like, there was even, I am so scared. I think that's really the underlying feeling, is I'm just scared. I'm scared. I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. I'm sad. I'm just all of it. And worst of all is I really actually did not believe this would happen. I truly did. I went to bed confident. And I still don't believe it. I really don't.
President Trump and his war on the black and brown community. You cannot tell me this man is not out to get the black and brown people. He just signed an executive order banning free bail. Now, if this is not for the least fortunate and the black and brown community, not only did he do that, the man just invested more money into the prison system. So that lets you know in itself that he has plans to create, because that's what he's doing, creating shit. create more laws that will be harmful to the black and brown community and the least fortunate. I don't want to leave them out because they are a part of this too. People, if y'all don't take that damn pen from this miserable ass man, this is a miserable motherfucker that sits up and find ways to piss people off. And don't think that it cannot happen to you, because I know people that are locked up right today because they were in an accident. An accident. That's a crime committed because you hurt someone. A crime they committed that they didn't know they were going to walk out their door that day and commit that crime. So stop acting like you're exempt. But oh, that's right. Your president will get you off for it, though. That's right. I forgot who I was talking to. So my people, watch yourself. Because this miserable motherfucker, Donald Trump, is out to get us. It's a war on black and brown people.
Oh, but sit down, there's more. I'm on a roll tonight. Let's talk about the Trump administration placing the images of black men on the White House social media pages. So the Trump administration has just crossed another line, posting the mugshots of arrested black men on the official White House social media pages. Not one white man, not one non-black face. Did you know about that? Let's be clear. This isn't about transparency or public safety. This is about controlling the narrative. And I've been talking about that this week on social media, how they are allowing the media to be controlled about what you see, controlled about what you hear about, controlled about what you learn. We're literally having to say things like, what was that word that I've been hearing, or that phrase? Music festival? What about that one? Or what about the purses? You couldn't even say the other word again because you just may get suppressed. So let's be clear. It's about stoking fear and feeding into the age-old racist stereotype that black people are inherently criminal or dangerous. Because remember, this is the same guy that took out a 4-page ad on 4 innocent young black men. Yeah, that same guy. So this isn't a new tactic, folks. We already know that. This is not new. We're used to this. We already know how this is going to go. And here's the thing. We're going to have to watch very carefully how the media plays this out, because guess what? If you think he's not controlling the media, think again. I guarantee you this entire conversation that we're having right now won't even get 3,000 views. It won't even get 300. Because my information and other people who provide news and journalistic commentary and content is being suppressed. All right. Let's get back into it, shall we? Hang on just a second. So here's what they're doing. This is not about the concept that this is new, because we all know that it is not. This is about continuing to work on the continuous stereotype of the black male in this country, right? It's used to justify over-policing. It's also used to talk about mass incarceration, because we already know what that's all about, right? You remember the 13th Amendment, and you do know what that's about, right? Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure. And that violent targeting of our communities for decades, that ain't new either. There's more. So by pushing these images out to the public on the White House page, that must make it real, right? That's got to make it real. Here's what's happening. They're shaping the perception and telling the nation who to fear. They want old white ladies to continue to clutch their purses in public and lock their doors, justifying future crackdowns. That's what they're doing too. I want you to understand that this is actually planting the seed that an increase in police and military presence in black neighborhoods is necessary. And they're distracting you guys from the systemic failure that we're all witnessing right now. You ever thought about that? You ever thought about what that means? So they're masking policy failures with the mess that we are seeing right now. Washington, D.C.'s crime rate is the lowest it's been in almost 30 years. It's down another 26%. The data and the numbers don't lie. But here's the issue. History is absolutely repeating itself. So this mirrors the exact same propaganda campaigns used to target Latinx and immigrant communities. And we're seeing that in real time, where they're just going around and they're just picking up folks. Doesn't matter who it is, we just go pick them up. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. Yeah, now the focus is on Black communities. And y'all, we have said that on social media. We have continued to say that on social media. From the beginning, we knew that our communities were next. Now, here's the end game. It's going to be expanded racial profiling. We already see that, okay? Higher rates of police violence, without a word being said, and further erosion of our civil rights. You ever thought about that too? Because it's coming. Here's the reason why you should be alarmed and you should be hot as fish grease. Here's what starts with selective mugshot posts that don't end there. Here's the issue. You're going to continue to see it. How dare you place their faces on there? But then this is the same administration that has somebody working their social media, and they're thinking that it's funny to go ahead and put images and video of people who are literally flipping out over what's happening with this current administration. So they're going to normalize racial bias, but we're not new to that, right? Desensitize the public. That's already been done, right? To disproportionate arrests and police violence. But see, that's already been done. That's already been done. Paving the way for harsher laws targeting specific communities under the guise of quote unquote safety. Because, you know, we've seen it before. Now, what we can't do is ignore what's happening, okay? We do understand that the shift was always there. They're just bringing it to the forefront for everybody to see more and more and more. But again, y'all, this is not new information to this community, my Black community, my Black brothers and sisters. We already know what's up. Here's our call to action. Transparency. Full racial breakdowns of arrests, not selective publicity. Accountability. Demand answers from elected officials who remain silent. And we're seeing a whole hell of a lot of that, aren't we? And here's something else. Community defense. Support local advocacy groups documenting racial profiling and fighting back in courts and councils. Listen, racial profiling and police violence are about to spike, not just in DC. They're just making it quote unquote okay to do it. You should be made aware now if you have not already been. And here's the thing. If you have young Black men in your home, if you have Black men that you love, that you honor, that you respect, just know that we need to have those conversations with our young Black men again. Mothers, daughters, sisters, grandmothers, aunties, just know. And it's not just about the Black man, it's about the Black folks, period. This is just a wake-up call. I will say this. Black folks, this is what you voted for. For those that were excited about this. You see how the press and you just get up in front of everybody and you just tell people what you want them to know and what to believe. And we believe it. How you feel about that? Because the next wave of policies are not done coming down. And you should be absolutely furious. But the question is, what you gonna do?
Family, let's be real. Black and brown people in this country are fed the fuck up. Every day under this Trump administration, we're watching the law get violated in broad daylight, while we're just trying to live, raise our kids, or build something for ourselves. We did not ask for this fight, but this regime keeps putting a target on our backs. And it's not just Trump. He stacked the Supreme Court with a bunch of loyalists. The military is following his orders, and people like Pete Hegseth are just giving commands that aren't even lawful. That's not democracy. That's tyranny. And the whole world sees it because folks are scared. They're packing up. They're leaving America in numbers that we've just never seen before. And if you look at what's happening in our neighborhoods, troops are patrolling the streets like it's a war zone. And when the only thing that we're guilty of is existing while Black and brown. So let's be clear. Trump's greed and his obsession with attacking us isn't just dangerous for us. It's dangerous for the whole country. So because if you keep pushing people into a corner, eventually they're going to push back. And when people lose faith in the justice system, when we believe that the courts won't protect us, every state in America, we're slipping into chaos. And that's not a warning. That's a fucking guarantee. Trump can control the soldiers, but he cannot control the spirit of the people. And if the people rise, no army in the world is going to be able to stop them. So this administration needs to understand, you cannot keep sowing division, fear, and hate without consequence. What starts as an attack on black and brown people will end up tearing at the very foundation of this country. And if America falls into an abyss, it won't just swallow us, it's going to swallow everybody. So I'm telling you, stay aware, stay strong, and stay united, because history shows us one thing: every empire that forgets its people eventually collapses.
Y'all see what Trump just did? So basically, Trump just froze the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ, that being the Department of Justice. Yeah, you heard me right. The part of the government that is supposed to protect our voting rights. Yeah. The part of the government that is supposed to stop police abuse. The part of the government that's supposed to make sure disabled folks and marginalized communities are treated fairly. Yeah, that. He just froze it. So I'm sure you're wondering, what does freeze mean exactly? It means that lawyers in that division got told basically no new cases, no new lawsuits, no new filings. They can't even jump into backed up civil rights lawsuits that are already happening. So if a police department is out here violating people's rights, or states are making shady voting laws, yeah, the DOJ is not stepping in. At least for now. Now the laws themselves, those still exist. The Voting Rights Act, the ADA, yeah, all that still exists. But the muscle behind all that, enforcing it, basically been put on the bench. And the scary part of that is communities that have been depending on that, black folks, disabled folks, immigrants, now have less protection than we even did before. So if you ask me, this is not just a pause, this is a statement. Trump is basically saying that civil rights enforcement is not a priority. So yeah, this is kind of huge, y'all. So stay woke on this, because history has shown us that when governments step back, people's rights will get trampled. And child, right now, the referee done left the damn court.